Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are taking it easy and staying safe. We are currently in level 1 lockdown in South Africa, and wow, people are losing their minds and losing their shots, okay? They are, and I really hope wherever you are, and if you're watching this, whether night, morning, afternoon, whatever, I hope you are looking after yourself and taking care of yourself and still sanitizing and wearing your masks. It's very, very important. I feel like we're 2 minutes from entering the second wave, and it's like we're gonna be locked down in December now at this point. Anyway, so I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another sit down video with me, Yo Faith. And we're going to be talking about the books that I have read. So of course you guys know that books are a very large feature of my channel. I'm getting into the video. It is what it is. Books are a very large feature of my channel, and this month I found time to read 5 books. It's actually 6, but the other one I'm still in the process of thinking about that book, so I decided not to include it in this month's wrap up. But these are the books. These are the books that I read this month. I managed to read quite a large number of books. This is a lot of books, and I loved each and every single one of them, and I'm going to talk to you in order of how I read them. So if you know what wrap-ups are about, it's just basically me giving you a synopsis, what I thought of the book and how I rate it out of 5, and I'm going to start in the order in which I read them. So first things first, The Girl with the Louding Voice. Now, you've seen this book feature a lot on my channel. You've probably seen it feature in vlogs as well. This book I read for my book club, which is the Brown Skin Reads book club. If you're still keen on joining the book club, please comment down below and let me know, because we are looking to take some more members. So if you want to spend December reading a book, join the book club. So this one, as you can see, it's got a lot of tabs on the side. I was reading it for the book club, and can I tell you, off the bat, this was a 5 out of 5. This book is by Abi Dare, the author Abi Dare, and this is her debut novel. And this story follows the life of a 14-year-old girl by the name of Aduni. Aduni, the book opens off with her having lost her mother to cancer. If I remember correctly. She lost her mother to cancer, and she lives in a small town, in actually a village in Nigeria, with her father, where things are still quite backward. She doesn't quite necessarily know much about life. All she knows is that when her mother passed, she wanted her daughter to have a louding voice, hence the title. A louding voice meaning to be educated, to have her education speak for her when she enters a room. She wanted her daughter the opportunity to be able to stand in a world with her education being her foundation. And as beautiful as the message in this book is, it is a very harrowing story which tackles a lot of themes. This girl goes through a lot as a 14-year-old. She loses her mother, and then of course her father chooses that, no, I'm not going to give you the education that your mother wanted. Instead, I'm going to marry you off. So she gets married at 14, and she becomes the third wife of this 40 something year old man. And she goes through these harrowing events where at times she's running for her life. She suffers a lot of grief, not only in the form of her mother, but someone else who's close to her also passes, and her life just moves from one harrowing moment to another. But what I love about it is that it ends on a very hopeful note. It's written in the first person, and she tells of her journeys, of her struggles, and you essentially walk the life of Aduni. And man, it's a powerful book with very big themes. I love the fact that she's not really educated. So the book, even in the way that it's written, because she's the one speaking, you can even tell that her English is a really broken down English. But as the book progresses, you get to see that she's actually starting to learn more in terms of English and grammar, and in that way, the book sort of like edges on in that direction. So the writing changes as well. It's brilliant. It's a book that focuses a lot on character development as well. You get into the life of this little girl. I was about to say young lady, but she's actually a little girl. You get into the life of this little girl, and you learn about, you know, who she is, her feelings, what she's going through, her fear, because she's such a young girl and she doesn't know. I mean, she goes to the city for the first time and she's essentially terrified and alone. And how she makes it out is a beautiful and hopeful ending to the story. Absolutely loved it. For a debut novel, I cannot wait for what Abidare has next for us, because this was an exceptional book. Definitely a 5 out of 5. Very, very harrowing themes. Grief is definitely one of them that stands out. But also, you know, themes of, you know, when women having children or not having children, and how society views women who don't have children. It is beautiful. It's definitely something that I definitely do suggest you try out if you are a reader. That's pretty much what I'm going to say. Definitely a lot of character development, very atmospheric as well. As you're reading it, it's sort of like you're there in the moment with her. When she's going through really tough times, they're really difficult scenes to read in this book. Very difficult, especially when she gets married to a 40, 50 something year old man. You can imagine the things that happen. Very, very difficult to read, but so worth it. I loved this book. Highly, highly recommend it. After that, I read The Guest List. This is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This is a thriller. The previous one was more of an adult contemporary fiction novel. This is a thriller, and thrillers are, of course, my favorite genre of books. I love thrillers. This one had so many twists. Normally in a thriller you can pick up a twist here or there. Maybe there's one big one and then maybe 2 or 3 others, whatever. This was twist after twist after twist. It kept me on my toes. I read this book in 2 days, 3 days. It's not that long, really. It's about 375 pages. Really not that long, but it had me enthralled. I was just like, what? I really, really enjoyed this book. This one is set on a remote island where there are guests who are attending a wedding. So the bride and the groom are quite well-known public figures. The groom is an actor, I believe, and the bride is a blogger / social media website, you know, founder and all of that. And they get married, but of course the book opens with a murder. So what we know from the onset is that somebody died on the wedding night, okay? Somebody died, we just don't know who. So the book takes on the form of different interpretations, point of views, POVs, from different people that are at the wedding. So you have the wedding party, the plus one, you know, the family members, the host of the property where this wedding, the host of the property where this wedding is being held, and all of that. And it's on a remote island, so everybody is essentially stuck there for a couple of days. The murder happens on the wedding night, and now you are reading perspectives from each and every person that is there, and you're trying to figure out who done did it, who killed this person, and who is it that's actually dead, because we don't know. But I love how it keeps you. It's not incredibly well written, but it's very easy to follow. It's a good story. It's very atmospheric as well. You also get an insight into the characters. The character development is very thorough in this one as well, because you kind of get to see that these people are nice people. Like, none of them are actually nice people. There's not even one, maybe one. There's one character that I potentially liked. The other ones I couldn't care less for, and they were just so unlikable. But you follow the story and you get to realize a lot about themselves, who they are, why they don't like this person, or whatever, the pretentiousness of the wedding party to each. Like, everybody's just pretending and laughing, but there's some really, really serious underlying themes of just people really hating each other. They don't like each other, they tolerate each other, and you get to see those things unravel. The behavior of people to one another, there's secrets that people hold, that they know about this person or about that person, and because of that, I don't like you, and this and that. But it's a great book, really great book. If you're looking for a good thriller, you're welcome. You're really, really welcome. This is definitely worth it. Not gory, not scary in any way, very atmospheric. You could tell, you know, the weather changed at some point and the wind was crazy and this and this. You actually feel like you are there and you're experiencing it. And I really, really enjoy that. I like it when books sort of get my imagination to that place where I genuinely feel like I'm there. So definitely with this one, I'm swinging between giving it a 4 and 4.5. Somewhere there. It's a great book. I mean, that's quite a high score. That one was exceptional. The Abidari one was. This one I definitely lean to giving it a 4 out of 5, but definitely worth the read. Check it out. The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Love her. I love how all the people that I'm going to mention today, I really love how all the authors I'm going to mention today are women of different races. What I read after that is this one, and I spoke about this one in one of my videos, and I spoke about it in quite a bit of detail, so I'm gonna keep this one short. This is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Brightweight. I hope I really apologize if I'm butchering that name. It is, for me, I feel like a dream was sold with me with regards to this book, because everybody was talking about how great this book is and this and that and the other, and I don't know if it was listed as being a thriller. It really didn't feel like a thriller to me. It felt like very much a light read, a very, very light read. It was quite entertaining. One thing I'll give it is that it was quite entertaining. The different exchanges between the characters, there's parts where I actually laughed out loud because it was really, really quite entertaining. Quite ironic to the title of the book. This is My Sister the Serial Killer. It follows the life of two sisters. One, the older sister, is a nurse who works at a hospital, and the younger sister is a fashion blogger, socialite, big on Instagram and all of that. Also, this book opens up with a death. So essentially, the younger sister is quite, let me just say, her ex-boyfriends pretty much land up dead. Every time she has a boyfriend, they die. They mysteriously die. And the reality is, and this is not giving anything away or a spoiler, we know that she's the one who kills her boyfriends. So what she does is she calls her older sister. The younger sister is Ayola, and the older sister is Korede. And she calls the older sister to clean up her mess, because the older sister is quite meticulous. She's a nurse. She knows what works, you know, what products, bleach, blah, 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 to clean off blood stains and to make sure that the space is sparkling, you know, that there wouldn't be any evidence left behind. She helps clean up her younger sister's mess. This book, very entertaining. It also tackles very difficult themes of daddy issues. I don't really like that term, but we'll just use it for the sake of this video. Daddy issues, and how, you know, the relationship you as a woman have with your father can directly or even indirectly impact your future relationships with men, your future romantic relationships with men. That is one of the themes. And then the other theme, which I really, really appreciated seeing in this book, was pretty privilege. Pretty privilege is a huge thing. I don't care who says what. I feel like we need to just accept and acknowledge that pretty privilege is a real thing. Some people get further on and further up better in life because they're pretty, and not necessarily because of anything else. A very light read for me, not at all what I expected. I had very high hopes going into this book, but I would rather say I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 5. I wasn't too wow about it. Also finished this like in 2 days. I started it today and then I finished it tomorrow. This was good. It was entertaining. Definitely worth a read. And then one of the best books I read this month is this one. Ooh, we need a moment for this book. Okay, this was a great book. Incredible. I cannot believe. Also one of actually the shortest book. This was 195 pages. But how Jacqueline Woodson, this is Read at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson, how she managed to weave in so much detail, so much depth, so much content into 195 pages is something I will forever be in awe of. She managed to give us, okay, so I'm sorry. This story essentially follows the life of Melody and her parents. So it's a very intergenerational story, which talks about how certain events that happen and occur within families, how they affect the family dynamics. Essentially, it relates to, in this sense, it relates to Melody's mother, Iris, who had Melody when she was 16 years old. So how those decisions, how she chose to keep Melody has directly or indirectly impacted how her life has then progressed moving forward. She was young, but there's very big themes. There's very big themes of disconnect, you know, how a parent struggles to connect with a child because she had the child when she was young. Also, same sex, same gender relations, which I really liked to see in this as well. I was really pleased to see that. But nevertheless, it just follows how families deal with certain situations that happen over the years intergenerationally. So you follow Melody, her story, her life, what's going on. You get a very big indication of Iris and Aubrey, Melody's father and mother, their lives, how Iris being pregnant with Melody impacted their lives with their parents and class as well. That's another theme that is quite widely addressed in here, how, you know, because the parents came from different classes, how that was viewed, how that was seen, how that changed the dynamic and things like that. I really loved this book. This book was written, it's a book, it's a novel, it's not written in verse or anything like that, but it flows so lyrically, it flows so symbolically. There's parts where I had to reread it because it was so beautiful. I just had to reread it. I feel like this is a book that'll never leave my mind, my heart, my spirit when it comes to books for a very, very long time. This is one I highly recommend. If I could give it a 6 out of 5, I definitely would. This is a 5 out of 5. It's a brilliant book. It's warm. It celebrates blackness. It celebrates black greatness. Not even blackness, just black greatness as well. And it celebrates, it just gives you a direct look into how the decisions we make as children and the decisions we make as grown adults impact not only ourselves but those around us. And it's just beautiful, and it sees it from the perspective of the grandparents to the parents to Melody as well, all those 3 generations, and it's art. This book for me is art. It's beautiful. And then the final book, which I finished 2 days ago, is this one. I finished this book yesterday. What am I saying? This is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. So if you might not, you might know who Celeste Ng is. Celeste Ng is the writer Celeste Ng is the writer of the author of Little Fires Everywhere. I'm sure you may have heard of it. If not, you may have seen the show with Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon. great show. I haven't read that book. I don't intend on reading Little Fires Everywhere, but I did pick up her debut novel, which was a sensation when it came out. For lack of a better term, it was a sensation when it came out, and people loved this book. This is Everything I Never Told You, and this follows the life of a family, also about family dynamics as well. And it follows the life of a Chinese American family that in the 1970s that lives in Ohio. The beginning of the book, literally the first line of the book, so this is not even a spoiler. The first line of the book is, Lydia is dead, but they don't know this yet. So one of the daughters of this family passes on, and the book opens with us knowing that, but they don't know it yet. It follows this life of a mixed interracial couple. The family, the mother is a blonde American woman, and the father is a Chinese American man. And it essentially shows us the life of the family in terms of when they find out that Lydia has passed. She's dead, and she's found in a lake nearby their home, and it essentially, the story unravels from there, and you can see how the family deals with it, the traumas. It's got so many underlying themes as well. It's got sub-themes as well. I don't know, this was debuted as a mystery novel, mystery thriller. I would definitely say mystery, but for me it's just an adult contemporary fiction. It has those underlying themes of family dynamics, and how you have the life of the father, who's always been, he's a Chinese American man, but of course in 1970s Ohio, or 1950s, when he was younger Ohio, he was always thought to be from outside the country, and he's never really felt like he's belonged. He's never really felt like he's in a space where people understand him or want to know him for who he is. So his whole life was run on the premise of wanting to fit in, and wanting to belong, and wanting to be understood and seen for who he actually is. And then you have the wife, Marilyn, who is a blonde, beautiful young woman who does not want to follow the stereotypical type life of a young woman in that time, like getting married and tending to your husband and cooking food for your family and what. She wants to stand out. Instead of fit in, she actually wants to stand out. She wants to be a doctor. She wants to do this. But then, of course, there's things that happen, and she ends up having children and cannot pursue this career that she's wanted for herself. But it then attacks a different sort of sub-theme of how parents have expectations of their children, and it impacts them a certain way. But not only that, there's favoritism as well. I mean, I feel like favoritism is a real thing with parents and their children. This addresses that as well. Really, really enjoyable read. I wouldn't say it's great, fantastic, out of this world. No, but I can definitely give it a 4 out of 5 because it was enjoyable, and it really addressed quite interesting factors about just parental relations, family dynamics. Her writing, shoo, beautiful, lyric, literally flows like a song. It's a book, it's a novel. It's not written in verse or anything like that, but it's so lyric. It's like, it's beautiful. It's a really, really well written book, well crafted. I love it. You get the point of views from different people. I feel like the character development of this book was exceptional. You get into the life of the parents and the 3 children. Lydia is the middle child who passes, and yeah, really, really enjoyed this one. Definitely recommend. I feel like I had a great reading month, and I'm so happy, and I'm ready to get into new books and read some of the ones that I have, like the horrors and the thrillers, like Mexican Gothic and all of that. Really, really looking forward to reading those. I'm a little bit apprehensive with the horror ones, but yeah, that's pretty much it from me. What are you reading? Have you been reading? Have you enjoyed this video? Please definitely let me know. Subscribe to the channel. Do join the JK family. We are almost at 15,000. I don't even want to count 13,000 or 14,000. We are almost at 15,000 subscribers, and I'd really like us to get there before we enter into the new year. So let's try that. Let's see how it goes. Aside from that, really hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go now. I've got another video to film just now, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye.